The hitchhiker on I-80. It was 2:17 a.m., somewhere east of Lincoln, Nebraska, on I-80. I'd been hauling freight from Denver to Chicago for 18 hours straight. The kind of night where the highway's a black ribbon under your high beams, and the only company is static on the CB radio. No moon, just that heavy Midwest fog rolling in like cigarette smoke. My rig's an old freightliner, affectionate nickname Black Betty, and she's groaning under 40 tons of steel pipe. I crank the coffee thermos, eyes burning. Up ahead, a figure stumbles into the breakdown lane. Hitchhiker. Skinny guy, maybe 30s, wearing a soaked denim jacket and jeans caked in mud. Thumb out, but his posture's off, like he's not waving, just holding on. Nebraska ain't kind to hitches this time of year, post-storm. I ease off the gas. Company policy says no pickups, but it's dead out here, and he looks half frozen. I flash the highs, pull over. Door hisses open. Hey, man, hop in. Where you headed? He climbs up slow, dripping water like he'd crawled out of a ditch. No backpack, no nothing. Face pale, eyes sunk in black pits. Chicago, he rasps, voice like gravel in a blender. Smells like wet earth and something coppery. Blood? I shake it off, merge back onto the interstate. We ride in silence for 20 miles. Radio's playing some classic rock, Springsteen, Thunder Road. I try small talk. Rough night? Truck breakdown. He stares at the windshield, doesn't blink. Finally, car went off the road. Back there. Mile marker 247. I glance at the GPS, no wrecks reported. Fog's thicker now, swallowing the taillights of a distant semi. You alone? I ask. He nods, slow. Was. Creepy, but truckers see weirdos. I offer him jerky from the glove box. He takes it, chews without expression. Then, unprompted, you ever see someone after they're gone? My gut twists. Like ghosts? Nah, man. That's bar talk. He chuckles, wet, gurgling. Not ghosts. Leftovers. Mile marker 247 passes. Nothing. No skid marks. No guardrail damage. I mention it. He points vaguely behind us. Hidden in the fog. Silence again. Clock hits 3 a.m. Betty's engine coughs. Fuel filter acting up? No, gauge is fine. But the air in the cab drops 10 degrees. My breath fogs. He notices, grins with teeth too yellow, too sharp. Cold, right? That's how it starts. I crank the heat. He leans closer. Last guy who picked me up. Screamed like a pig when he saw. Saw what? I don't ask. Rearview mirror. Empty highway. But something flickers in the sleeper berth behind the seats. A shadow. Just my imagination. CB crackles. Breaker 19. Anyone near I-80 mile 250? Got a report of accident. Static swallows it. Panic bubbles. Buddy, next exit's a truck stop. Drop you there. He laughs. That gurgle again. No exits. Not anymore. Bullshit. GPS shows 1 in 5 miles. But the signs, they're gone. Fog's a wall now. He turns fully to me, jacket parting. Holy hell, his chest is torn open, ribs gleaming wet, no shirt underneath. Heart's not beating. It's still, black cavity pulsing with worms? You drove through it, he whispers. Mile 247. My car. Me inside. I slam brakes. Rig fishtails, jackknives halfway. No collision, but the world spins. Dashcam later shows it. Nothing hit us. He's still there, grinning. Look back. Sleeper curtain rips open. Body there, his body. Duplicate, mangled, eyes wide in death scream. Realization hits. He died at 247. Crash reports confirm later. A sedan hydroplaned, single occupant DOA. But he was already hitchhiking when I picked him up. Temporal glitch? Hell no. He, or it, leans in. Your turn to walk. I bolt from the cab, rig shuddering behind me. Fog parts just enough. I sprint to the shoulder, thumb out blindly. Headlights pierce. Another trucker, godsend. Horn blares. I dive in, babbling. He saw my rig empty, swerved to miss. Dashcam. Pulled by cops next day. Shows me picking up. Nothing. Empty lane. But audio. My voice talking to static. Mile 247. Guardrail fresh repaired. Sedan wreckage towed weeks ago. That trucker dropped me at a diner. Cops laughed it off. Exhaustion hallucination. but I quit hauling I-80. Still drive it sometimes, windows up, radio off. And every 2 a.m. near 247, CB picks up a voice. Hey, man. Hop in. Chicago. They say he hitches eternal, waiting for the next fool. Fog hides the truth. Drive safe. Like this video and subscribe now because next story is very horror. The knocking in apartment 4B. It started at 11:43 p.m., October 14th. My studio in Capitol Hill. Cheap rent, thin walls. Rain hammered the window like fists. I just binge-watched true crime. Lights low, wine glass half empty. Single woman, 28, no pets. Then, 3 slow knocks on the door. Not urgent, deliberate. Knock, knock, knock. Peephole, empty hall, flickering fluorescent. Probably Mrs. Hargrove from 4A, senile and wondering. Hello. No answer. I chain the door, peek again. Nothing. Back to bed, but sleep won't come. 12:17 a.m. Knocks again. Same rhythm. Heart picks up. This time, a voice, muffled, male. Sarah. It's me. My ex, Tom. We split months ago. He moved to Tacoma. No way. Tom, go away. Silence. Then scratching, like nails on wood. Long, slow drags. I grab my phone, dial 911 but hang up. Paranoia. 12:49 a.m. Knocks return. Faster. Knock, knock, knock. Voice deeper. Let me in, Sarah. It's cold. Not Tom's voice. Gruffer. Wetter. I text my neighbor, Jake in 4C. Hear knocking? He replies. Nope. You okay? Bullshit. Walls are paper thin. I shove a chair under the knob. 1:02 a.m. Not knocks, thumps now. Heavy, like shoulders ramming. Door frame creaks. I retreat to the bathroom, lock it, call 911 for real. Someone's trying to break in. Dispatcher. Stay put, unit en route. Name. Thump thump. Line crackles. Cops arrive at 1:28 a.m. 2 officers, Ramirez and Lee. They pound on my door. Seattle PD. I let them in, no damage. Hall empty. They check 4A, Mrs. Hargrove asleep. Jake swears no noise. Maybe wind, Ramirez says. They leave. I laugh nervously, pour more wine. 2:15 a.m. Knocks, soft, polite. Back from the dead. Knock, knock, knock. Peephole, a shape now. Tall, hooded, face obscured. Sarah, open up. I have your mail. Creep. I yell, police were here. It laughs, low, echoing unnaturally. I film it on my phone. Figure doesn't move, but the laugh warps, multiple voices overlapping. Scratching resumes, louder. Splinters form on the door. Jake texts, WTF? I hear it now. Calling cops. But when they return at 2:47, figure gone. Door intact. No, deep gouges now. Officers cordon the hall. Forensics later. Scratches match human nails, but embedded with soil? From the Puget Sound mudflats. Vandalism, Lee says. They escort me to a hotel. I crash, exhausted. 3:30 a.m. Hotel room. Knocks on that door. Impossible. Knock, knock, knock. Sarah, it's me. Same voice. Peephole, empty. But the TV flickers on, static. Then my apartment hallway can feed? Hacked. No, the figure's back, banging my door. Panic. I flee to the lobby, beg front desk for help. Manager checks cameras. No one entered after me. Back upstairs, barricade with dresser. Dawn breaks, knock stop. Relief. Daylight. Cops let me retrieve clothes. Apartment sealed, but I sneak in. Note on my bed, handwritten. See you tonight, Sarah. Tom's handwriting. Forensics. No prints. Jake missing. His door ajar, blood smears inside. That night, 11:43 p.m. sharp, back in a new apartment across town. Knocks. I scream into the recorder. SBD audio captures it. 3 knocks, voice saying my name. They trace it, impossible origin, like from inside the walls. 2 a.m. Door buckles inward. Figure steps through, not walking, oozing. Hood falls, no face, just a more of teeth and mud, eyes like drowned marbles. It knows me, whispers my SSN, my sins. Jake's badge dangles from its neck. He listened. I run. Fire escape. Rain slick. It pursues, knocking on every door I pass. Neighbors wake. Scream. Cops swarm again. Creature vanishes into storm drain. Body found days later. Jake's, mangled in the mudflats, nails torn off, mouth stuffed with apartment keys. SBD closed it as animal attack, but the knocks? They followed me for weeks. Moved to Arizona. Still, 11:43 p.m. some nights. Knock, knock, knock. It's not Tom. It's whatever crawls up from the sewers, wearing stolen skins. Listens at your door. Waits for you to answer. Please like this video and subscribe now, because next story is very horror.
Only visible in the rearview mirror. I've driven rideshare for years. Late nights. Empty highways. Strangers who overshare because they think darkness makes confessions disappear. I'd seen drunk fights, crying breakups, and once, a guy who tried to pay me with a pocket knife. But this ride changed everything. The pickup was on a 2-lane road outside rural Oregon. No streetlights. Just trees and fog rolling low across the asphalt. The app showed one rider. No profile photo. Name listed as passenger. That should have been my first warning. When I pulled up, there was no one there. I waited. Just as I was about to cancel, my backseat door opened. I didn't hear footsteps. I didn't see anyone walk up. The seat dipped. The door closed. Evening, a voice said behind me. I jumped, heart racing, then forced myself to breathe. Sorry, didn't see you there. No response. I checked the rearview mirror. The seat was empty. I laughed nervously. Bad lighting. Fog playing tricks. Where to? I asked. The app updated on its own. Destination, Mirror Lake Road. I frowned. Mirror Lake Road had been closed for years after multiple accidents. Landslides. Disappearances. I hadn't driven it since. Well, since anyone sensible stopped. I can't go there, I said. The voice spoke again. Closer now. You already are. The car turned without my hands moving. The wheel twisted gently, like guided by something patient and confident. Trees swallowed the road, their branches arching overhead. Fog thickened, pressing against the windows like breath on glass. I glanced at the rearview mirror again. This time, I saw him. A man sat directly behind me. Thin. Pale. His eyes were too large, reflecting light like an animal's. His mouth hung open slightly, as if he'd forgotten how to close it. When I turned my head to look directly, the seat was empty. My pulse hammered in my ears. I kept my eyes forward. Please get out of my car, I whispered. He tilted his head in the mirror. You don't look unless you want us to be the same, he said. The fog parted suddenly, revealing a stretch of road lined with abandoned cars. Some were smashed. Some burned. Some looked like they'd simply been parked and left forever. Every license plate was scratched out. My headlights flickered. The mirror darkened. Then another face appeared. Then another. Dozens of faces, stacked behind one another, all staring through the glass. All waiting. All smiling. The man leaned forward until his breath fogged the mirror. Keep driving, he whispered, or you'll see yourself back here too. I didn't blink. That was the first rule I learned. The moment I felt my eyelids twitch, the faces in the mirror leaned closer, stretching wider, as if my attention fed them. The man closest to me, the one who'd first appeared, rested his chin on the top of my seat, his eyes never leaving my reflection. You look away, he murmured, and you stay. My hands trembled on the steering wheel as the road narrowed, branches scraping the sides of the car like fingernails. The fog thickened until the world beyond my windshield vanished completely. Only the mirror felt real. My phone buzzed. The rideshare app was still running. A notification popped up. Ride status. Ongoing. Time elapsed. 14 hours. That's impossible, I whispered. The man smiled, and his teeth were wrong. Too many. Layered like they didn't belong to one mouth. Time doesn't go forward here, he said. It circles. The car ahead of me appeared suddenly through the fog, its hazard lights blinking weakly. I slammed the brakes, stopping inches from its bumper. Relief hit me like a wave. Another driver meant witnesses. Help. I stepped out of the car without thinking. The moment my foot hit the asphalt, the mirror inside my car shattered. I heard screaming. Not from the forest. From inside my own head. I turned slowly toward the abandoned car. The driver's door was open. Inside sat a man frozen mid-scream, hands locked on the wheel, eyes wide and glassy. His face was identical to mine. Cold panic wrapped around my spine. I stumbled backward, tripping over nothing, landing hard on the road. When I looked up, the faces were no longer in the mirror. They were standing around me. Dozens of them. All versions of drivers. Different ages. Different clothes. Same hollow expressions. Each one held a piece of broken glass. The first man, the passenger, stepped forward. "You broke the rule," he said calmly. "You got out." "I didn't know," I cried. "I didn't know." He crouched beside me, close enough that I could smell damp earth and old metal on his breath. "We didn't either," he said. He handed me a shard of glass. I looked into it. My reflection lagged again. Then it smiled. The road behind us lit up with headlights. A new car. A new ride request. The app on my phone buzzed once more. Passenger pickup incoming. The man stood and gestured toward the road. "Your turn to guide," he said softly. "Just remember." All the voices spoke together, only visible in the mirror. That reset every night. I didn't plan on stopping. That's the lie I tell myself now. I was driving through rural Nevada at night, heading back from a late construction job. My phone battery was dying, gas was low, and the nearest city was still over an hour away. The highway was empty, stretching endlessly under a moon that looked too bright for comfort. Then I saw the sign. "Welcome to Ravens Creek. Next 2 miles." I'd lived in this state my whole life. I'd never heard of Ravens Creek. 2 miles later, the road dipped downward and the town appeared like it had been placed there intentionally. Too neat, too quiet. Streetlights flickered softly. Buildings stood intact but old, like they hadn't been updated since the early 90s. Every business was open. Every single one. Gas station, diner, motel, grocery store. But there were no cars. No people. Just lights waiting. I pulled into the gas station, telling myself I'd get fuel and leave. The moment I stepped out of my car, the air felt heavy, thick, like the night itself was pressing against my chest. The gas pump worked. That should have reassured me. It didn't. While filling up, I noticed something carved into the concrete near the pump. Tallies. Hundreds of them. Scratched deep, like someone had been keeping count for a long time. Inside the station, the lights buzzed softly. A bell rang as I entered. "Hello." I called. A man stood behind the counter. He was smiling. Too wide. Too still. "You're just in time," he said. "For what?" I asked. His smile didn't change. "Closing." I glanced at the clock on the wall. It read 11:59 p.m. The second hand ticked forward. The lights flickered. The clock reset. 11 p.m. I blinked. The clerk's smile widened. "Everyone gets one night," he said softly. The bell rang again. Someone else had entered. I turned. It was me. Same clothes. Same tired face. Walking in like I had 30 seconds earlier. My heart slammed against my ribs. I backed away from the counter, shaking my head. "This isn't real," I whispered. The clerk leaned forward. "Oh, it's real," he said. "It's just repeating." Suddenly, the streetlights outside went dark all at once, then turned back on. The sound of distant laughter echoed through the town. Not happy laughter. Tired laughter. Like people who had been here far too long. I ran. Out of the station, back into my car. I slammed the door, locked it, and turned the key. The engine started. Relief surged through me. I sped toward the edge of town, toward the road I came from. But the sign had changed. Leaving Ravens Creek. First night. My headlights caught movement ahead. People standing in the road. Dozens of them. All staring. All smiling. All wearing exhaustion on their faces. One of them stepped forward. He looked straight at me and spoke the words that froze my blood. "See you again at 11. I slammed the brakes. The crowd didn't flinch. They stood there calmly, illuminated by my headlights, faces pale and stretched into tired smiles. Their eyes were sunken, rimmed with dark circles like they hadn't slept in years. Some of them wore hospital wristbands. Others had dirt under their fingernails. One woman clutched a motel key tightly in her hand, knuckles white. I leaned on the horn. The sound echoed through the empty streets, sharp and desperate. No one moved. A man stepped closer, placing his palm flat against my hood. His skin looked grey, almost waxy, like it hadn't seen sunlight in a long time. "You don't want to leave yet," he said gently. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely grip the wheel. "Get out of the way." Behind him, the others began to whisper. Not loudly, not urgently, just repeating the same phrase under their breath. 11, 11, 11. I threw the car into reverse, backing away fast. The crowd didn't chase me. They simply turned as one and watched, their heads moving in perfect unison. I drove until the streets blurred together, until the town felt like a maze designed by someone who hated exits. Every turn led back to the same diner, the same blinking motel sign, the same gas station. The clock on every building read 11:12 p.m. Always. I pulled into the motel parking lot, desperate for shelter. The neon sign buzzed overhead, vacancy flickering like it was struggling to stay alive. Inside, the lobby smelled of old carpet and dust. A woman sat behind the desk, flipping through a ledger. She didn't look surprised to see me. "You checked in already," she said. "I've never been here," I snapped. She slid the ledger toward me. My name was written on every page. Room 11. Night 1. Night 2. Night 3. The last entry was blank. My stomach turned. How long have I been here? She finally looked up. Her eyes were red, raw around the edges. "I stopped counting after 50, she said quietly. The lights flickered. The clock behind her clicked forward. 11:58 p.m. Fear slammed into me all over again. What happens at 11? I asked. Her voice dropped to a whisper. "It starts over." I ran upstairs, heart pounding, and burst into room 11. The room was clean, too clean. The bed was made perfectly. The window faced the highway. I rushed to it. Cars drove by outside. Real cars. Real people. Freedom was right there. I banged on the glass, screaming for help. No one looked up. The clock on the nightstand ticked louder with every second. 11:59 p.m. The air in the room grew heavy. The lights dimmed. My reflection in the mirror began to lag behind my movements, smiling when I wasn't. Then the clock reset. 11 p.m. The door opened. I was standing there, fresh, unaware, reaching for the light switch. And I understood. The town didn't trap people. It copied them, over and over, until the original was too tired to fight. The copy froze, staring straight at me, and smiled. "See you again,"